this video, we're going to go over how to close out a listing in MLS once you've received the closing paperwork from our escrow department. So when you open up your bag in the morning, you will see EISs that look like this, and that's going to be the closing paperwork for your transactions. So looking at this one, just take note, there can be multiple EISs for this address. And the reason being is that they will send you all of the copies that they have. So if there are multiple revisions sent in, you're going to have multiple yellows when you receive your closing paperwork. To know that you're working with the most current and up-to-date version of the EIS is going to be indicated in this corner here, where we'll have your office number, the official close date, and then concessions if there were concessions. If there were 0 on this property, there'd be a little 0 right here. And that's how you'd know there's no concessions. So once you've identified that you're working with the most up-to-date version of the EIS, you're going to see if we are on the listing or selling side. So here it looks like we're on the listing side, so we know that it is going to be our responsibility to close this out in MLS. So now that we have the EIS and we know that we need to close it out, what we'll do is we'll come into MLS and look up the listing. Right, and now we see it here in pending status. So we're going to click the listing number and then go into status information. Now from here, we're going to want to select this drop-down list and we're going to want to go from pending to closed. Okay, so now if we scroll down to the closing information, this is where we're going to begin adding new information based off of the EIS that we have. So the first is going to be the sale date. So if we look here at the EIS, it's written here 8/10/22 as the close date given by escrow. So we know that we need to include that as the date. So 8/10. And then we're moving down to the sale price. So the sale price written on the EIS here is going to be $545. So we will go ahead and add that. And now the escrow number and company. So we just take a look at the EIS here, and that is going to be right here under title information. So we're going to make a note of this escrow number here and the company. That's the escrow number. And the company. Okay. Now that we have that, we'll take another look at the EIS and we will look for under lending information, the financial terms. So this is the kind of loan that they have. So it looks like it's conventional here. So we will go ahead and add that. Okay. And now concessions. So as noted previously on the EIS, it was marked yes that there was concessions with that $6,000 notated in the corner, as you can see here. All right, now, so when we do have concessions, it's important now that MLS does require you to have a comment. This traditionally would be where you would put what the concession was for. It's going to be our line standard practice to always put CLA, which is call listing agent. We're not going to put any details here, and we don't want to hold this process up by having to reach out to the agent. So we'll just put CLA. And if anyone does need to know what those concessions are for, they can call. All right, so now this is where we're going to want to put in the buyer agent office. So our agent here, because we are on the listing site, is already linked to this transaction through this listing. So now what we're going to do is link the agent who represented the buyer to this transaction. So if you're looking at the EIS here, it's going to be this agent on this side, the selling broker that we're going to be adding to the listing. So I can see here it's Jacqueline Gage with Guide Real Estate. So what I would do is come back into MLS, click this little search bar, and look that agent up. So Gage. Okay. Oh, Jacqueline Gage with Guide Real Estate. Add them in. And you've entered all of the information that you need to close out this listing. So what we'll go ahead and do is hit save. And now we've closed it out. So now when they look it up, we'll be able to see all of the information that we added. The other agent will be attached to this listing as well. And that is how you close out a listing in MLS.